Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that honor, and thank you also to Wayne LaPierre and David Keene for all the help they gave me during my campaign, counsel and advice on a number of issues. It's an honor to have them here today and to see them again. Thank you for the chance to be here. I got a call from David Keene. He said, "Mitt, you're the governor of Massachusetts, right?" I said, "Yes, I was." And he said, "Do you believe in free speech?" And I said, "Well, of course I believe in free speech. I believe in all of the rights that we have in the Constitution and the Bill of Rights." He said, "Good, I'd like you to give one." And so I'm here. Now, this is the first time I've had the chance to address your annual meeting, and it's an honor to be here. I hope you'll excuse a mistake or two. I'm known to make mistakes, particularly if I haven't done something before. When I went out and ran the Olympic Winter Games in Salt Lake City in 2002, I was kind of new to the area. We had a home in Park City, Utah. I was walking behind the house one day, and I came across a big field filled with sheep. The farmer was there, and feeling in a gaming mood, I said, "If I can guess the exact number of sheep in your herd, can I have one?" And he said, "Sure." I said, 2,142. He said, "That's absolutely amazing. You've guessed the exact number of sheep in my herd." So I picked up my animal, began walking away. He said, "Wait a second. If I can guess your name and what you're doing here, can I have my animal back?" I said, "Sure." He said, "You're that Romney fella came here from Massachusetts to run the Olympics, right?" I said, "How in the world did you guess that?" He said, "Put down my dog and I'll tell you." Now today I want to talk about a very serious subject, and that's about the serious choice that America is about to make, and about the fact that you can have an enormous impact on the choice that America makes. It's probably as important a choice as we have faced in electoral history in a long, long time, because in my view, America faces critical challenges, as you just heard from Ambassador Bolton. We face the threat of radical violent jihad, people who are intent on causing the collapse and overthrow of our country, economically, politically, militarily. We face a fragile economy. When someone like Alan Greenspan says that our current crisis is the most severe since World War II, you know it's a challenge. We face energy threats, where people like Ahmadinejad and Putin and Chavez are holding consumers in America hostage for higher and higher gasoline prices. And we face, of course, a cultural challenge, where the very beliefs of America, the rights and privileges of the American people, are being challenged largely by folks who don't understand the Constitution. Now, there are two candidates for president, and these two candidates have about as different a view on these issues as you can imagine. With regards to global jihad, for instance, as we just heard, you have Barack Obama, who wants to sit down personally, if he's the president of the United States, with some of the world's worst actors, Kim Jong-il, Ahmadinejad, Castro. He wants to sit down with them and bestow upon them the dignity of the office of the President of the United States, giving them a propaganda bonanza. On the other hand, you have John McCain. He instead wants to sit down with the leaders of the great democratic nations of the world, come together and combine our forces and our strength and our resolve to overcome radical violent jihad. I don't know about you, but I feel very deeply we want to get our troops home as soon as we can, but I want to make sure, like Senator McCain, that they come home not after defeat, but they come home after victory. And in that regard, when it comes to Homeland Security, I want to make sure our next president cares first and foremost about the lives of the American citizens, a lot more than he cares about the opinions of the lawyers at the ACLU. Just consider the economy. You have with Barack Obama and someone like Hillary Clinton as well, they'd raise taxes, they'd increase regulation, and they'd restrict trade. They would turn a recovery into an economic rout. On the other hand, with John McCain, you have someone who would lower taxes, increase our trade, and continue the growth of our economy. Look at health care. Barack Obama wants to have the government take over 1/6 of our economy. I don't know about you, but I don't want the bureaucrats who ran the Katrina cleanup telling me who I can use as a doctor. But let's talk a moment about the culture of our country. I used to spend a lot of time in business. 25 years of my career, as you know, was in the private sector, and I used to travel into different countries, and I was struck by the fact that you could have two countries right next to each other, with one country highly successful, vibrant economy, and the other struggling. And that went on for decades, for centuries, and I wondered, why is it that some people are so successful and others are less so? And I read some books on the topic. One that struck my attention was one called The Wealth and Poverty of Nations. I was a little concerned because it was written by a professor from Harvard, by definition, a liberal. His name is David Landis. So I read the book, and I found it actually quite scholarly and interesting. And after about 500 pages of analysis, he says roughly these words. He said, if you can learn anything about the economic history of the world, it's this: culture makes all the difference. Culture makes all the difference. It's what determines whether a nation is successful economically and politically and militarily, and instead whether it's weak. And so I thought, what is it about the culture of the United States of America that's made us the most powerful nation on the earth? What is it about the things we believe, the things we value? What is it about what's in the hearts of our fathers and the hearts of our children that makes America what we are? You probably got your own list. I have some of the things that come to my mind. One is Americans like hard work. We're not afraid of hard work. By the way, all these cultural elements, in my view, are under attack right now. But hard work is one. Another is we value education. Americans love opportunity. We prefer opportunity to ease anytime. We're God-fearing people. Not all Americans believe in God, but almost all Americans believe in something greater than themselves. Americans are family-oriented. We sacrifice for our kids and for our grandkids because we love them deeply. And by the way, the great majority of Americans recognize that marriage is a relationship between a man and a woman. Boy, was I disappointed yesterday to see one more time a one-vote majority of a state Supreme Court overturn the will of its people. That is simply wrong. Now, Americans love freedom. New Hampshire's license plate has it right. Live free or die. Now, all of these, if you will, cultural values and beliefs of Americans are under attack, typically by liberals. I love what Ronald Reagan said about liberals, by the way. He said, it's not that liberals are ignorant, it's just that what they know is wrong. So we got to educate them. Liberals tried to substitute their values for the rights that are enumerated in the Constitution. They try and put abortion rights and gay rights into the Constitution while at the same time taking out religious liberty in the Second Amendment. And it's time for us to stop trying to substitute counterfeit values for the values that were written in the Constitution by the founders. I want to acknowledge the work that you do. We have a vibrant Second Amendment today because of your work defending and protecting it in the courts and in the public arenas and in the ballot box. As you know, my life hasn't been spent in politics, but it didn't take me very long to understand that there are millions and millions of people who care very deeply about their constitutional right to bear arms, and that if politicians ignore those constitutional rights and tread on that right, they, like Al Gore in 2000, are going to face a lot more heat than his proverbial global warming. So your work makes a difference.